so I can like just cancel and kick people out.
That's right.
What's up, YouTube? What is up?
What's up, YouTube?
Stop. But one thing that would be interesting to do with YouTube is like you can actually do. I listen to this guy Harris, this podcast, big podcast, Harris Football, and he goes live um exclusively. So like that is the event. It's like he'll have like the recorded stuff for the podcast, and then he'll have like a separate night where he's like, "Hey, by the way, this is only on YouTube," which I
Well,
think is kind of cool.
yeah, we've done that before. Well, not for this, but yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
But
I know
yeah,
what you're talking about.
that's cool. That's cool. Wait, maybe we should do that for the people. Maybe we should like watch a game together, like on a Thursday night or a Sunday night or whatever, Friday night, whatever NFL nights there are now, and we just go and we just react live on YouTube and just hang out with the people and have the people come on in. As y'all notice, we don't actually go live,
Yep.
but it's a lot. It's a lot because you got to monitor the chat, and there's the people, not the people, the bots. They spam the chat, and then we don't have enough staff because it's just us to do that. Because like the live streamers, they have like staff to monitor and to kick those people out. Like we don't have that, and so in us, we struggle enough with technology, so we'd be like, oh, and we'd probably like cancel the stream accidentally because we'd be
stream's
out.
done. We lost. We lose.
But if y'all notice, we've been posting again. We've been on the YouTube, the IG, the X, or Twitter. What else? What else is on there?
Even Facebook, but Facebook is terrible. There's like nobody shares anything. It's funny. Like I'll share something to Twitter and be like, you know what? I'm gonna go to Facebook and share the same thing. And whoever posted it on Twitter did not post it on Facebook. It's horrible. Horrible.
Facebook is for us old folk, but there's still use for it. I'm guessing. Who knows, man? Who knows?
No, I don't know if there is. I don't know.
Like I feel like half of these YouTube's things are just like us aging ourselves.
That's literally like our YouTube
just by
lives.
Default.
We should just like Brevity, like sports is the podcast, and then old Brevity Sports is the YouTube. Like that's like this is about us being old. There it is. Like, dude, we were talking about. I was talking to one of my buddies today. Actually, we were like just cleaning pools, and he was out there with me, and we were talking about like growing up. And he was like, "When did you get your first cell phone?" And it was like, dude, all of a sudden it was like, dude, I was thinking about the Razor. Like kids these days will have no idea what it was to pull out the Razor, and like you felt so cool. Like if you had a Razor, it was like,
whoa. That, man. I never had that. My little sister got the Razor. She wrote an essay to my parents, like on why it was beneficial for her to have a cell phone because it would keep her safe. If she ever was in trouble, she could call them or call 911. Like it was like a whole 2-page essay, but it had to be the Razor. It wasn't any other. It wasn't just like, give me a cell phone. It was, you have to give me the Razor. Like no other phone can keep me safe. I can't call 911 on the other phones. It was a Razor. Of course, they fell for it. Of course, it was a great.
The Sidekick. Do you remember the Sidekick?
I remember the Sidekick.
You like flicked it out. You flicked it out and like.
You have I remember the chocolate, the LG chocolate.
What?
No, the chocolate. It like slid up. it was just like a brick, and then it slid up, and then it was like then you could type. No.
Or
the MV,
the MV. I had the Sony Ericsson. Did you ever have the Sony Ericsson? I was like a big fan of the Sony Ericsson cell.
No, bro.
It was pretty cool.
I just remember I got my first phone in 8th grade, and it was a flip phone. I didn't have a camera, but I racked up the texting bill for like $300, like within a month.
Who was it? Was it like a girlfriend?
Oh yeah, it was like my 8th grade girlfriend.
Oh snap!
Yeah, and so I had Verizon. And she had AT&T, and back then, like it cost to text.
Yeah, you couldn't cross platforms, dude. You had to find a girlfriend.
My dad my dad was pissed, so he took away texting from me from like 6 months because he's like, "Yeah, you rang up the bill, man." I was like, "What are you doing?" So like, I had to call. You
hear that, kids? We used to have to pay for our text. Everything used to be intentional, including the text messages. All right, now you just send them all willy nilly.
What did you do? What did you do? ABC or T9 word?
What?
ABC or T9 word? You don't remember the text?
What, the text T9 word? What was T9 word?
So like, like there's ABC on number 1,
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
did.
So if you wanted to hit C, like in your text, you had to hit number 1 3 times.
Right. Yep.
Okay. Okay. Well, T9 word is like you would do like for can, you would do 1, 1, and then like 7, and then it would so that like CAN, and then it would figure out like what combinations like that you
But
put
didn't that
in.
come later? I feel like that came later. Like that
No,
was
bro.
not.
No, I remember I was in ninth grade. So I got my phone in seventh grade. I was in ninth grade or maybe eighth grade. And I was at a birthday and this girl, she was like, Zach, like she was like the texter. Like everyone knew she, like she was always texting. She's like, Zach, you have to do TNI word. It saves you so much time. And it took me so long to figure it out, but it really did save
Is
time.
is Haley gonna appreciate it? We've clearly just talked about two of your ex girlfriends. Is that gonna
No,
be like an
that wasn't her.
exciting?
That was an ex girlfriend. The second one was an ex girlfriend.
All of the girls love Big Z. Okay,
No,
all of
no,
the
it's
girls.
that. Well, she loved me as a
He's
friend.
turning red. He's turning red. He's turning red. People,
No,
if you're
bro,
not
it's because it's
watching,
hot. It's hot in here. No, that she anyway. She taught me Tina word, and it was great. But nowadays, like you said, the kids don't have to worry about choosing between ABC format or Tina
nope,
word format.
one format.
It's just one format, just
Big
the
Z
keyboard.
still breaking hearts. He's married, ladies. Sorry, everybody joining the YouTube. He's taken. No more. No more T9 Big Z. Totally married.
There it
And
is.
his wife is in the Hall of Fame. Legend.
That's right, bro. That's right. Hall of
Does she laugh
Famer.
every time we bring that up? She
Yeah,
has to
I
like get
tell
a
her
kick
like
out
you
of it.
called her that what? Oh yeah, because it was her birthday last week. And I was
Yeah.
like, hey, Fredo said happy birthday, the Hall of Famer. And she's like,
Rolled her eyes.
it's Hall of Fame. Yeah, I've heard that so many times, dude.
No big deal. All right, let's get this podcast started. Let's do it. There we go.
Oh man. Let's do it.
Also, the Sony
Let's
Ericsson was cool because you could listen to music. It was like one of the first phones. You like listen to music, like hook your little thing up. You didn't need a Walkman.
all right. I kept talking about my phones because my phones were all lame. But okay, you don't have to freaking rub it in my face that your phones were cooler than mine. But
So much cooler.
it's all good, bro. It's all good. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Yes, welcome back, everybody. It is your boy, the Brevity Boys. Myself, joined as always by Big Z. Big Z, say hi to the people.
What's up, man? Sorry. The music was still going. Sometimes it's hard and I keep right. There's so many like windows open.
We're
It's
supposed
hard,
to show
man.
how old we are on the YouTube, and then when the podcast starts, we're supposed to be past the oldness, Big Z.
Dude, if you saw how many freaking windows and tabs I have open, all the controls and the touch screens on my keyboard, it's hard being the DJ at first. Okay, it's hard.
I believe you.
Sometimes I get mixed up. I'm good. I'm good.
The music won't stop.
I'm good, man. Is that what you asked me how I'm doing?
Yeah, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. The weather has gone down. The temperature has gone down this last few days.
Yep.
And it's just, I wouldn't say it's glorious, but it is a lot better than it was.
Yes.
And so we've been good in the house with no AC. If y'all were wondering, we survived. We did. We definitely survived. We had to spend one night at the in-laws house, but they were out of town but they have AC, so we're going over there and we're gonna spend the night there.
Yeah. That makes sense.
But yeah, I'm good, man. It's really busy this week with work. But just excited to have another weekend. Some friends are coming into town and this weekend, so we're gonna hang.
Ooh.
They want to see Ollie, of course. And so he's gonna do his thing, and we're going to the park and all that fun stuff, watch some football, and they want to go to an Angels Astros game tomorrow, so we may go there.
For a little one bit. Time you have permission to root for a team other than the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Anyone who's playing the Astros. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go, Angels.
Yeah, let's go. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the weekend. It'll be good, man. How about you? How are you doing? Like you're in the danger zone
right now. Danger zone, dude. Danger zone. Oh wait. The fight is on. What part of that? What song? It's from Top Gun. You know where my head's at, right? You know the song.
I love Top Gun. I know.
You know what I'm talking about. Okay. Yeah. Danger Zone. Danger Zone. Lana. Danger Zone. Lana. Uh, anyways, yeah, no, I am. I'm actually below the freeway, so I'm okay. But like
Yeah.
Mitchie, his grandma lives like up on the hill, like so. Definitely checked on her. For those who don't know, I'm like about 10 miles less from the bridge fire right now, still 0% contained. So there's a chance that they're going to be evacuated. And for me, I mean, it's a little sketchy. I'm not going to front. I was evacuated when the Grand Prix fires took place back in what 2000 and I think it was 2004, something like that. It was a long time ago, obviously. I was in like junior high, so whatever. I'm trying to think age wise, I think 2003, 2004.
14?
Yeah, I was like 13, 14, somewhere in
14.
there. I don't know how old are you in junior? I don't even know. Because you're 12 in sixth grade, right? 12 in sixth grade,
I
13
turned
seventh.
13 in seventh grade. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was right
So
in
around
seventh, eighth grade, somewhere in there. And we got evacuated. And so, my sons are asking me like, "There's no chance we get evacuated, right?" I'm like, "Well, one time I was, but I also lived more close to the base of the mountain at that time, so I'm personally okay." But my sister lives right up the street, obviously, so it's just not ideal. And I've seen a lot of people are like, even our league, like kind of taking it like super lightly, like, "Oh, it's totally going the other way," and I'm like, "Yeah, but if it decides that it's not, if it decides
Right. If the
it's
wind
coming
is
back this
like,
way."
no, we're gonna change.
Well,
It's gonna change
well,
course.
the other thing is, people don't realize when a fire gets this big, like it creates its own path, like it creates its own wind, it's creating its own
It creates its own
weather.
weather system. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Oh,
So
yeah, totally.
it
It's
does what it
crazy,
wants
man.
to do. So the wind could be blowing north, and this fire could say, "Nope, I'm headed south." It is what it is.
Yeah.
So, for right now, we're good. We actually had practice right at the base of the mountain tonight. Hopefully, trying to get some games in tomorrow, but all that depends on the weather. Again,
Is this
if we
smoky?
it's not. So right now
Okay.
the wind is blowing everything like east and west and north. So we're actually not getting any of the smoke right now, which is perfect. But a chance if you wake up like on Tuesday, I think it was Monday was awful. Monday I was out doing my route and literally I had to like take I like had to kneel down at
Yeah.
times. Like it was
Oh
it
yeah,
was
man.
really really bad.
Yeah.
Just because of how much was there. But yeah, dude, it was hopefully it gets a little bit better. But there's a few fires. That's the other problem. You have the bridge fire, the line fire, and then I don't know. I think it's the airport.
Airport. Yeah. So
Yes.
that's an OC and then also Riverside County. Yeah. So that one we were seeing smoke from that one. It was like really just like weird looking on Monday.
Yeah.
Like orange and like
Yep.
just looked off, like kind of
Yep.
dark all day. You could smell the smoke in the air. So I think, oh yeah, Oliver this week, his sinuses have been all jacked up, and I'm like, I swear it's probably from that. And then also like the weather change. But yeah, it's crazy. And like, so the Ridge Fire is LA County, San Bernardino, and then the airport one is Orange and Riverside. So like it's affecting a lot of people, man. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
Uh
I mean,
yeah.
bridge fire is over 70 or 50,000 acres burned.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah. I think the
absolutely insane.
airport's like 30. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
nuts, man.
And
I
there's
know.
zero containment
Yeah.
on these puppies. Nothing.
I know it's like can't you can't you
No.
know but apparently there's some rain potentially in the forecast next week, so hopefully that helps. But
That'd be great.
yeah, man, you just got to pray for people and hopefully they don't. I mean, I know a lot of people losing their houses right now, but hopefully everyone is okay. But
Yeah.
you
It's
just
never ideal.
consider, like, we're here talking tonight, it just makes you put things in perspective, how blessed we are, and just
It
hope for
is
the
it
best,
is
man.
it is a strange thing to be in California. And I realize other places have dealt with like up north. They had a pretty big fires last year, right? Like there's
Right.
huge, massive fires. So like the other places also know, obviously. Having said that, it's interesting in California every single summer, like it happens and it's just like, yep, fire
Well,
started.
that's like that's the new
This
thing.
is
It's that, and then earthquakes. Did you feel the earthquake today? Like it was in Malibu. It was 4.7.
no, I didn't. That's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. It was like 7:45, and we had just gotten Ollie up, and Haley was on the couch watching the news, and then Oliver loves to get coffee every morning, like pour Haley's creamer and coffee, and so I'm helping him with it because like um, and then she's like earthquake. I'm like what? And all of a sudden, and Oliver's just like whatever.
Wait, did she feel it?
Or
Like, did it hit her? Did it hit her room first, or
well,
like?
I know I don't, because like she's in the kitchen. No, I'm in the kitchen. She's in the living room, which isn't. It's what 10, 20 feet away. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I guess she felt like a little jolt, and all of a sudden, like, bam, it hit.
Dude,
I mean, it wasn't crazy near us, but it was like, oh shoot,
her legend sense was tingling, dude.
Bro,
Hall of
every
Famer.
time she's always like
Her Hall of Fame
earthquake. Before it,
senses.
and I asked, I was like, did you have like an alert? Because like there's like that shake app that
Right.
apparently like senses it before it happens, like 10 seconds, which is crazy to me. It's like, okay, is not enough time to get under, like, thanks for the warning. It's 10 seconds
I
later.
don't want to know. If it's only 10 seconds, I don't want to know. Like, I'm good.
But yeah, I was like, did you get a warning? And she's like, no, I just sent. I was like, what?
She's a Hall of Famer, dude. She's a Hall of Famer.
She's a Hall of
different kind of person. When you're a Hall of Famer,
that's right.
You have different senses. You're more in touch with what's around you. I'll tell you who needs to be more in touch with those around him and be aware of a situation.
Of himself.
Yeah. First and foremost, let me just say, Tua, we hope to God that this is a speedy recovery for you. We hope that we get to see you back on a football field. Let me start right there. Like, I don't want to come off as insensitive. This thing just happened. If you didn't know, Miami Dolphins quarterback Tua goes down with a pretty brutal looking hit. Looks like leading with his head. He had a couple brutal concussions last year. In fact, a lot of people, including myself and Big Z, thought this guy should not touch a football field again, right. Based on last year. And that's not to say I don't think he's not talented. It's more just like, dude,
for his brain.
Bro, well, when your hands curl up, like last year's was like great. Like his hands were like, when you see that, it's like, okay, like what is this worth? And then to see today, it's like, dude, why are you just slide?
Slide, bro.
This is not worth your life.
Right. I'll give the Bears credit for one thing. Watching HBO or the Hard Knocks, like they're doing slide drills, but like on a slip and slide.
Right.
And so like, and they keep talking about, and then Caleb did it this week, and it was like, oh yeah, like that's a good slide. And so it's like, that's what Tua needs. Like, I saw that play, like the dude went head first into 3 defenders, like to get the first down. Like, actually, he already got the first down, and then he tried to get an extra 3 yards or something, and they didn't even, it wasn't even helmet to helmet, but the way that the collision happened, like his neck just twisted in a weird way, and thank God like he was able to walk off the field under his own power, which is a good sign. But it was immediate released like tonight after the game that he has a concussion. So, and like like what you said, it's like I think this is his 4th or 5th concussion in the last 2 or 3 seasons, and last year was like a big test. I think like he had to stay concussion free for like a certain amount of time, and then like he had that decision to make in the offseason, like, should I return or should I not? And he's like, you know what? Because like, didn't it last year he came back, like they did some like off-season training, like some like taekwondo or like jujitsu, like on how to like fall. And I think it worked, but man, it's like, what are you doing, man? Like you need to be aware of what you like. Don't dive head first, especially with your history. I guess he's set though. Like he signed his contract, which is great, but like, dude, be careful. Like, come on, dude.
At the end of the day, it'll ultimately be his decision, but at this point, he'd have to retire because he already signed the contract. So, they're expecting him back. Josh McDaniels is sitting there like, I don't know what I'm going to do. And we talked about it immediately in the chat. Like, do you just go get Tannehill? Like, you got to go get somebody, right? Because this Miami defense, or this Miami team, the window is now. That's what they went out and signed and aged, Jalen Ramsey. They believe, not necessarily we believe, but they believe their window's now.
Right. Yeah, you're going to have to get either someone on the trade market or, maybe Ryan Tannehill. And he said, he's only going to come back if it's for like a good contender, right? And like a good situation. So
Ryan Tannehill said that?
Yes.
Like he gets to choose. Like he's been this elite quarterback. Like,
bro, I'm telling you, man, people are gonna.
What is with this? What is with this? Like there's like just this. The NFL to me is reeking. It's reeking of just like this self-entitlement, right? Like before the season, everybody decided the Bears were just going to be like this incredible team.
Well, but like in Ryan Tannehill's shoes, like he, they didn't re-sign his contract. Like they let him. The Titans didn't. They just let him go to free agency. Like I'm not going to come back if it's the freaking Panthers who want me. Like I'm not going to get beat up by the Panthers, right? Like, are you?
I see what you're saying. Like, because he retired, he's completely done.
He's like he's not like officially retired, but like he's also just he's unofficially retired. So like if someone comes calling, like, and it's the Panthers or the Dolphins, like I'm gonna choose a contender. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's like where he's coming from.
Yeah, he's not willing to be like Joe Flacco. Like when
Yeah.
Joe Flacco got a
Yes.
call from the Browns, he's like, I'm in.
Yeah. And like, but the Browns were a playoff team last year. But like,
Who are you calling, Big Z? Who are you calling? Like if you're in Miami, who are you calling?
I mean, because Skylar Thompson looked like trash tonight. His backup, Tua's backup. I mean, I don't know who's I'm calling the Raiders, like for Gardner Minshew or maybe Aiden O'Connell. I'm calling the Rams for Jimmy G. Um, like I'm calling someone who has like I'm calling the Niners for Josh Dobbs. You
Yeah.
know, because Brandon Allen's their second string, so Josh Dobbs the third. That actually, if you're gonna call anyone, you call the Niners for Josh Dobbs.
Call the Broncos for Garrett Wilson. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know.
Garrett
You got to
Wilson,
go with
Zach
something.
Wilson,
Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson.
I was just watching college football. His brother's name,
Um,
I think, is Garrett. Right?
Well,
No.
Garrett Wilson is on the Jets.
No,
He's
no,
on
but
your
what's
freaking fantasy team,
yeah,
bro.
but what's his little brother's team? His little brother plays for
Oh, he has a brother? I don't know.
yeah, his little brother's playing college football. And I just saw him and I was watching him play, and he also didn't impress me. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, you got to call somebody, because I agree with you. I mean, the fact that I thought it was really interesting that Tyreek Hill and Waddle sat like, like you're losing. Like why do they sit the entire?
Well, there you go. There's the entitlement thing. It's like, I mean, unless it's the coaching staff. I don't think they actually chose to sit. Like those guys are so competitive. I doubt they wanted to sit, but
I can't believe that they wanted to sit. And then also, like, dude, the NFL's thing, right? This isn't baseball, right? Like, isn't that the whole selling point of the NFL? Like, it's not
every
baseball.
game
Every
counts.
game matters. Like you never give up, right? Like at the start of the fourth quarter, they weren't in. From what I saw,
but
I
the
could be wrong.
Bills. Okay, but McDaniels is smart. He knows, bro. Like the Bills have destroyed them the past 10 meetings or 15 meetings or something. Like they're not coming back, especially with Tua out. Like they're not going to come back and win that game.
That's fair.
There's no way. Like why?
So
Tua gets hurt. Your franchise quarterback gets hurt. Why risk getting Tyreek Hill hurt and Jalen Waddle hurt? Like there's no. You're not going to win. Like let him sit.
This is why I refuse to pay NFL prices to go to games. This is why, right here, because it's like twice as much as every other sport. And then if somebody gets hurt, that's it. Like my $500 I just spent doesn't matter.
Right. What another crappy Thursday night game. Like I don't know why, but Thursday night games just always are pretty crappy.
Amazon is cursed when it comes to the NFL.
Besides last week's game, that was NBC. So the Ravens and Chiefs. But yeah,
Amazon is not.
I mean, on paper, the Bills. On paper, divisional matchup, Bills, Dolphins. Yeah, that's great, but then the circumstances happened, and
I mean, reality between paper and reality. I mean, there's just certain things like technically the Bengals were supposed to be a good team on paper. So
yeah,
here we are,
and they lost to the Patriots.
The team that wasn't like
Jacoby Brissett at home. At home.
I mean, if you're a Bengals fan, are you pushing the panic button a little bit? Are you like,
yes. I like I know week one's weird. I know it's weird. Okay. But like you had Jamar Chase out there. You had Joe Burrow out there. Like with just those two guys, you should easily steamroll the Patriots in Cincinnati. It's the season opener. There's no excuses, man. There's no excuses. And you got a problem, man. You have a huge problem in Cincinnati when your star receiver, Jamar Chase, is turning down the same exact contract that Justin Jefferson got. Like, you got a problem. Like, it's not team.
Wait, the same contract that Justin Jefferson got?
That's the word that they offered him, the same contract as Justin Jefferson. And he turned it down.
What has he done? I mean, I guess he got him to Super Bowl. That's cool. That is cool.
But he's not. Yeah, but he's not better than Justin Jefferson.
No. I think if you gave both a competent quarterback, I don't think there's anybody out there taking Jamar Chase over Justin Jefferson.
No. Imagine Justin Jefferson with Joe Burrow. Just imagine it. Like, be glorious.
I think a couple, maybe last year, I'd probably be more excited for it. I'm not gonna lie. I heard a pretty good take from a gentleman, the speak guy. Gosh dang it. I shared it on our Twitter. Go follow our Twitter. It's a really good video.
I saw it. I saw it.
Yeah. So this guy's literally going off talking about, what has Joe Burrow actually done outside of the 1 year that he was able to put it all together? And with that, he had 3 of the most elite receivers in the NFL. He had Higgins, Boyd, and Chase. None of those guys are slouches. Boyd is obviously the worst receiver of that trio, but he was younger at the time. So, and a Joe Mixon, who we just found out. I mean, again, it's only 1 game, so we don't want to overreact. But Joe Mixon,
Beastly, though, yeah,
looked ridiculous with an actual offensive line.
Right.
All of a sudden, you're like, wait a minute, like. So this guy had 3 elite receivers and what appears to be an elite running back in the NFL. Maybe it wasn't all Joey B. And I mean, we sort of got an inkling of that last year, right? When his replacement came in and was also hucking the ball around the field.
Right.
Throwing for touchdowns, throwing for yards. So, the question has to be asked. And then, the little video, again, that we posted, if you don't follow us on Twitter, go follow us on Twitter. The video we posted of him, like, playing with his wrist, already injured wrist, and then they ask him after the game, like, what was I doing weird? Yeah, I picked up a Gatorade bottle weird. It's like, dude, don't pretend like you didn't know. You were literally flexing and playing around with your wrist for a solid, like, 5 minutes. Like, you were just walking around just doing this. Like, come on, man.
I know, man. Like, it's like you said, if you're a Bengals fan, it's panic. Like, again, it's week 1, but I'm panicking, and they have the freaking Chiefs coming to town, and you have Jamar Chase spouting off today saying that, we're the team to beat in the AFC. You literally lost to the Patriots at home. Like, stop, bro.
Maybe win a game.
Win a game and freaking sign a contract. Like, if they offer you that, like, you're complaining about, like, just sign it, bro, and get on the field and actually do work. Like, it's obviously not beneficial to sit out. We saw it. We saw it last week with Jamar Chase. We saw it with Brandon Ayuk dropping dimes from Brock Purdy. Like, it is not beneficial, at least as a wide receiver, to sit out in training camp and to be me first. It isn't.
No.
It truly isn't.
Nope.
Stupid.
Get in
it hurts your team.
Well, especially if you believe you are, like, we're the team to be in the AFC. Well, why wouldn't you want to be a part of that then? Like, if you actually believe that, then, like, don't you want to win?
Right.
Like, isn't there some sort of, like, competitive spirit? Like, I know you also want to get taken care of. Like, isn't there some sort of, competitive spirit? I mean, I shouldn't assume that, because there's teams like the Panthers who appear to have, like, zero competitive spirit. Like, literally.
Don't you just feel bad for Bryce Young?
I only feel bad for one group of people, and it's their fans. I don't know what I would do if I was watching, like, there's a bunch of videos about Giants fans, like, watching Daniels, throw the ball.
Gosh, yeah.
And they're like, what do I have to do? Like that one video, what do we got to do? 6 years. 6 years of watching the same freaking thing over. The guy's just losing it. Guy's absolutely losing it. And I still feel worse for the Panthers than I do for, like, at least the Giants have neighbors. Like, there's one bright spot that they can look at and say,
Brian Burns on defense. Yeah, right. I mean,
they can look and say, there is a path forward. Look at here.
I just wish I wish the Panthers fans, like, who all those Panthers fans that tuned into us were just like, hire those guys. Like, when we were talking about the draft in 2023, like, they're saying, take CJ Stroud. What are we doing? Like, don't take Bryce Young. I mean, I just wish they hired us, man. Like, it would be completely opposites right now. Like, they would be in the driver's seat.
We also would have got him a receiver. We also would have got him a receiver outside of Adam Thielen. Like, if you are going to draft a quarterback, maybe before his confidence, because right now, like, let me be clear, I don't think Bryce Young is as bad as we're seeing right now. I think what you're looking at right now is just a dude who is broken. Like, his spirit is shattered. Yeah. His confidence is gone.
There's no protection, man. Like, okay, like,
right.
I play with them on Madden. Like, I'm doing, like, a connected franchise with my brother-in-law right now.
Right.
And I'm not going to choose the Niners. They're too good. So, like, I'm going to choose a freaking project, and it's the Panthers. And, dude, they are so bad. It is so frustrating. Like, I want to throw my controller against the wall, because, like, their offensive line, like, you snap the ball, it's like 2 seconds, you're sacked. Like, it is trash. So, like, on Madden, if you can't video game a video game, there's no way Bryce Young's actually going to video game real life. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
and then when he gets space, like, people are showing all these clips of him, he gets space and he, like, gets back. And I'm not saying I'm not saying he ever gets to be a starting quarterback. This is why we've talked about it before. Situation does matter. When everybody's hating on Brock Purdy, it's like, yeah, but if Patrick Mahomes isn't drafted by the Chiefs with
Right.
Travis Kelce, who knows? If Tom Brady isn't drafted by the Patriots with Gronk, who knows? Like the situation does matter on some level. And so when you look at a Bryce Young, like, I'm not saying he's going to go somewhere else and just be turned into like this completely competent quarterback. What I am saying though is like, even if he is better than what we're seeing, his confidence it has to be so freaking shot that even when he has a minute or even when he's trying to make a play, he's like, what do I do? Right. There
Right.
was a couple scrambles where like he looked lost because like, there's nobody around. What do I do with space? This is crazy. Like he
Right.
almost doesn't know. Like the swagger is gone. You know what I mean? And you see it. You see it. Like this is akin to if you're listening to this podcast, go like a Bobby Miller type situation where once that confidence is rattled, he's a pitcher for the Dodgers, and you've seen it time and time again for various pitchers throughout the league. Once that confidence is gone, they either try to go back to their one pitch that they believe in, and it just keeps getting raked. It's the same thing for this quarterback, right? His confidence is just absolutely rattled. So we don't even know what we're looking at for the Panthers, really.
Right. I know, man. It's sad. It's sad to watch. And it doesn't look like it's going to get better, but you never know. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, we know the Panthers. The Panthers. We kind of know. The team we don't know, probably the Falcons. Like we don't know.
Yeah, that was surprising. I mean, we know the Steelers have a good defense just because like that's their identity, that's their coach,
right?
In Tomlin, but to be at home and to put up only 10 points and to lose, Kirk Cousins just looking the way like I don't know if you noticed, but every single snap Kirk Cousins was in the shotgun, which is indicative to me that he cannot move that well right now with that Achilles.
Right.
He's in the shotgun and he's going to make a quick read and do it. But like, if you're under center, like, then you can like, that's showing me like, you're healthy, fully healthy. I don't think he's fully healthy yet.
Right.
And they probably rushed him back on the field. And this is why I think like Penix maybe should be starting.
But I think the issue you're having with Penix though is like pride, right? Like that GM.
Yeah.
If they put Penix in and he starts being the beast that you and I know he is, and he starts flinging that ball around, fitting it in tight windows, doing his thing, all of a sudden that GM is going to have some explaining to do.
Yeah. But also, it's not like they traded assets from. They signed him to a contract.
Oh, I would do it. I would do it. Yeah, I would do it. Or trade him.
This is the National Football League, man.
And the Dolphins need a guy.
There is a team. Exactly. There's teams that would give up draft capital or maybe players for Kirk Cousins right now. And we're not saying that Kirk Cousins is done, but like there's a big question mark now on the Falcons because again, you only can put up 10 points in the week 1 against the Steelers.
With all your weapons, you go out, you get Mooney. He's no slouch. So you got Mooney, you got Drake London, who's I'm told he's one of the best receivers at the point of like reception.
Yeah,
like that's
Bijan Robinson, Algier. Like you have the guys. Like, and I just think it comes down to like he's not fully healthy. I don't think he's 100%. And
I think the GM needs to swallow whatever it is, like getting in the way. He's got to just eat that up, bottle that up, and start Penix like next week.
I think he kind of did when he drafted him. I think he swallowed half of it.
Right. And
like
I mean, that's the thing.
He probably saw Cousins in like OTAs and was like, oh, okay, well, let's pivot off of this. Let's go. If you
get somebody to eat his contract, great, but you're not. So maybe find somebody who's willing to pay half of it. Like, hey, just give us a quarter of this contract, or look, we'll give you a great deal on like a Mooney, right? Or like a great deal on like, like they have this asset behind Bijan who's pretty good. There's a lot of teams out there who would love to have an Algier. So you package them. Hey, you take Algier, we'll give you Algier for nothing.
Yeah.
But you got to eat this contract.
Yeah.
Like something that would help. I don't know who goes for that, but maybe package them together. Because that what happened last? I mean, that was terrible with all the hope.
Again, Aaron Rodgers kind of said it best, like in his presser after their week 1 debacle against the Niners. But it's just week 1, like, and like, that's what like the media, like they just like to jump on like, oh, it's feast or famine, right? It's like, that's what NFL is, especially because it's only 17 games. But I think the Falcons, they'll get back on track. Like I don't even who did they even play this week? But I, you give him 4 weeks to figure it out. I feel like, and after that, I think that they play the Eagles. That's gonna be tough, but you can make a pretty conclusive
That's gonna be tough.
decision about like what's gonna happen. So like, right. But if he does well against the Eagles, and it's like, all right, then we're back on track. We're back in the saddle, right? And so, like after week 1, you can't really judge it. He hasn't played in a while. Like there's a lot of rust. Like, yeah, there's so many factors going into it, but it did look bad. There is some panic there if I'm a Falcon fan, for sure.
Oh, 100%. It has to be.
Yeah.
It has to be.
Yeah. 100%, man.
And then you're looking at the Bears and the Steelers sort of in the same boat. I will say real quick, just on the Falcons, one thing you have to be concerned about, like Carolina still sucks, so that's not bad. But like Tampa Bay is going to be good. Tampa Bay looked good. Like they looked great. And Baker is the heart and soul of that team.
Oh, Baker found his home. Yeah.
He loves it. Like they're going I really do believe Tampa Bay is going to walk away with that division. So if you are the Falcons and you do have playoff aspirations, you're going to have to figure this out pretty quickly.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people that picked them to win the Super Bowl, which is to me, I'm like, whoa, like pump the brakes.
Yeah.
I still think they make the playoffs probably I still think they win the division. But like it's gonna be close with Tampa Bay. But it's either that or they get the wild card, one of the wild card slots. But yeah, man, you're talking about the Bears. Like, and again, I'm not panicking if I'm a Bears fan because like this is Caleb Williams' first game. But I think that they got so lucky. Like if they had lost that game, the whole news cycle would be about like, oh, Caleb Williams is a bust. Like, but yet the defense won them that game. They pulled it out for them. But Caleb Williams had 92 passing yards, bro. Like he didn't do anything.
Yep.
But yet he's still getting credit for a 17-point comeback or whatever it was. It's just crazy to me. He looked trash against the Titans.
He looked bad. He looked bad. I agree with you. I don't think it is time to push the panic button. Like I'm relieved that nobody's saying like he's a bust yet. Like we've already openly come out and said we don't think he's as good. When everybody's talking about him as a generational talent, like let me be clear. What Big Z and I were disagreeing with was that people were coming out saying this is a generational talent. He's not that. Okay, he's not that. No. He can be a fine quarterback in the NFL. Yeah. I believe that still. He's not a generational talent. I still thought the better value based on where you were getting them at the time were with the other quarterbacks. Having said that, turns out all of them went in the first round. So, hey, at the end of the day, Bo Nix didn't look great, right? Daniel
showed some promise.
Yeah, I'm not nearly as concerned with Bo Nix as a lot of other people. I know, like I was listening to Harris, and I was listening to Harris and like the Ballers, and they're like, Bo Nix is terrible, like just going in on this kid. I'm like,
but here's the difference between those two. You have Williams and Nix. Nix had to play against Seattle on the road. You know how hard it is to play against the 12th man? Your first game ever. Like, they're pumped up. Like, people don't, that stuff, like, you don't underestimate that stuff. Like, that's hard. And still, Nix did not have the best game, but, like, he still created stuff. Like, he still, like, the one juke he had to get into the end zone was amazing. Like, the scramble to his right, and he just juked one of the corners. Like the dude is talented. Like there's promise there in a very tough environment. And then you kind of pivot over to Jaden Daniels. I think out of all the rookies this weekend, Jaden Daniels had the best week. Like it didn't show on the scoreboard, but like he was able to do stuff with his arm and his legs. And I think he's going to build upon that this upcoming week. But I think out of every rookie this week, I think Williams looked the worst.
To me, I agree 100%.
And he was at home. He was the only one at home.
He wasn't making the right reads. He was playing a completely beatable Titans team, and no other rookie even has remotely as close to the same weapons. None of them have even remotely. DJ Moore, Keenan Allen. Like we were all hearing about all neighbors. Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, Swift in the backfield. Komet. Like dude,
Swift.
The improved offensive line. Great coach. The whole 9 yards. And they're playing a Titans team that they should have beat. If you're a Bears fan, I'm concerned. He wasn't making the right reads. Again, we just talked about it. Bo Nix. Bo Nix was making the right reads. It was a second late. He was throwing the ball where it needed to go. It just needed to be a second quicker, and that does have a lot to do with the one thing we knew about the Seahawks coming into the season was that their defense is good. That's the only thing we knew about the Seahawks. The one thing everybody's saying about the Seahawks is we don't know what their offense is, and we still don't know what their offense is. Clear. When Tyler Lockett, I'll get into that in just 1 second. But you know what? It's our podcast. I'm going to get into it now, and we'll come back to this. By the way, everybody was like, "Oh, Tyler Lockett, resurrection. Oh, Tyler Lockett. You guys are so wrong about Tyler Lockett." If you're a Seahawks fan, it is a bad thing that Tyler Lockett is your best receiver. Like, that is a problem. You're going to lose so many games. You won this game, or no, you lost. You lost this. You won this game. You won this game.
They won.
You won this game, but you're going to lose so many games if Tyler Lockett is your best receiver. You're just not going to be anywhere. Like, look at this division. You're in this division with the Niners and the Rams. Like, these teams
and the Cardinals.
These teams are going to be good. Okay, yeah. Tyler Lockett can't be your best weapon. I digress. Regardless, listen, Bo Nix, the one thing we knew about the Seahawks was they had a good defense, and he was just a second late. He was seeing the read, he was seeing the guy, he was a second late, and he has a coach that refuses to let him roll out, and I don't know why. In the last drive, we saw it. Like, when your quarterback is struggling, as every rookie does, that's what the Washington Commanders did. Hey, he's not throwing the ball very well. Let's use his legs. Let's roll him out. Let's let him run around, and that's what made him successful. I did not understand Peyton not adjusting. I mean, I did because I'm not as high on him as everybody else. But finally, when he did it in the last drive, Bo Nix looked pretty competent. All of a sudden, he was completing throws. All of a sudden, he was getting out in open space. Give this guy an option to use his legs. Give him an option to use that youth. And, of course, I completely agree with you. Jayden Daniels, by far, looked the best. But I am more worried right now about Caleb Williams. And, again, I would love to see some Penix in the near future. I don't mind what you're saying, Big Z. Wait a little bit, but I would love to see him,
Oh, so. I mean, he's going to be great, man, especially if you keep those weapons around them. And I think they can, like, especially if they get rid of Cousins, like, they'll have the money because he's on a rookie contract, so like they'll be able to keep the offense around him, like the stars, star-studded team around him. So we love Penix. Like, he's a good quarterback.
He was the most NFL-ready quarterback. To me,
out of all those guys, 100%.
Jayden Daniels was more mobile, but
playing and winning in big games, like the Pac-12. Again, people hate on the Pac-12, which is being resurrected, but people hate on the Pac-12. The Pac-12, I think, was the deepest conference last year in college football, and they went undefeated in that, and they went to the national championship game and lost to probably one of the best college defenses in the history of college football in Michigan. And so, like, yeah, again, bookmark every time we talk about Michael Penix, and one day we'll be proven right once again about another quarterback.
Usually happens. Usually we nail it. Usually we nail it. We told you Justin Fields wasn't going to be great. He wasn't great. And that hurts because I want so badly to believe in Justin Fields. So badly I want to believe in this guy. And it's just not. He just doesn't. He doesn't make the right reads, Big Z. He just doesn't.
He just doesn't. I mean, his team won. His field goal kicker. Like, people make fun of kickers, right?
I crushed it.
But he made 6 field goals, and they won 18-10 or whatever it was. Like, he was responsible for all of their points.
Stop trashing kickers, man.
Stop trashing kickers. They're vital to teams. Like, they are real football players. And for those of you who say that they're not, go and try to kick a 20-yard field goal, because I know I couldn't do it. So you go try to do it, right? Yeah. Right. I don't know why there's a thumbs up thing on my screen right now. Did you see that? That was weird.
I didn't. But, I mean, Tory Taylor.
I don't know what that was. Okay, well, anyways.
Hey, yeah, there we go. Tory Taylor, he knows it better than anybody else. I mean, really, when you're talking about, somebody looking at Caleb Williams, hey, don't even worry about punting. You're not going to be punting very often. Dude is arguably the MVP of the game. He kept pinning the Titans so deep. Like, it was just so stupid to watch. That was absolutely insane. Speaking of football, we got to get into it a little bit. Big Z, week 1 down. Weren't a lot of leagues. Overall, how'd you look in fantasy football?
So I'll start with the Brevity League. My first freaking A, man. Trash. Just trash. It was a trash week for me. 77 points. But luckily I wasn't the worst scoring team in the league. Actually, wasn't. I was, I think, the third or fourth worst scoring, some surprisingly.
Yeah, there we
Like there
go.
was one team at like 39 points. So I'm
Yeah.
not feeling too bad. Mitchie beat me. Good for him. We'll see how it is at the end of the season. But I'm looking for my guys to bounce back in week 2. In my other league, I had the second highest scoring
Yeah.
offense or team. I won. And so I got Saquon in that league. Uh, another thing that we called, Saquon just looks great behind that Eagles offensive line. And so yeah, there's a few other leagues I'm in that I'm not like super into, but I won. So just trying to ride the wave right now, figuring out what I should do. But hopefully there's a bounce back in the Brevity League this week. How about you,
It,
man?
dude, in 2 leagues, I was the second highest scoring person in that league. And unfortunately, both those leagues, I played the highest scoring team of each league. So those leagues, I feel great. One of them, I really don't know what these guys were doing when they were drafting. I feel really strong about my team. You got to feel good about any team. It's only 10 man, but when you're thinking about sitting guys like Devontae Adams, like it's like, who do I start? You're deep, right? So I feel great about that team.
Oh yeah.
Brevity, I feel great about that. I lost there, but I was the second highest scoring team. My team went off. I just needed Garrett Wilson to get 4 more points, and I would have beaten the highest scoring team in the week. But it's all good. So I feel great about that team. Made a couple ads, and then one of the only league that I actually got a W in I'm in there with Jason. I did okay. Like I didn't think I was gonna. Yeah, I didn't think I was great, but everybody had a really bad week, which is consistent with what I've heard of across all the podcasts. That it's just a lot of people are running the ball, and
Yeah.
it wasn't a strong week.
Yeah, like Drake London, in Brevity, and on my other league that I won, but Drake London just was trash. Like there's a week 1 is just kind of an outlier, I think, like historically in fantasy
Yeah,
football. There's like a lot of like running backs will go off, like you said, and then a lot of wide receivers. And if you watched any football this weekend, you could tell though, like across the league, like it was rust, man. Especially nowadays, like when like they're not playing in the preseason, the stars aren't playing a lot in the
yep,
preseason.
yep.
And so like there's a lot of rust going on. The offensive line isn't in sync, the quarterback and the wide receivers aren't in sync. And so I think there was a lot of that going on
Right,
overall.
right.
And I think it showed in a lot of fantasy leagues for sure. So we'll see like as the season gets going, but
Yeah.
like yeah,
I
you
mean, you've
can't
heard a lot of the OGs talk about it. Like,
yeah,
Tom, I think, has made some comments about preseason used to mean something. Like that
right,
was sort of your moment to get out there and get things right, right? To get out there and hey,
right.
let's figure out right now what that play is going to look like. And then you have an Ayuk who's dropping balls in the end zone. He probably makes that catch.
Dimes, not balls, dimes.
Peyton Manning was pissed.
Oh
I don't
yeah,
know
he
if
was
you
like,
saw the
bro,
Manning brothers like, dude,
yeah,
get to training camp. If you want to get paid, make that catch. Like
yeah,
that's the catch you need to make. You know what I mean? Thankfully, obviously the Niners still won.
yeah,
But does that help you out? I'll tell you somebody I did panic on in my fantasy personally. I don't want to root for this guy anyway. I'm a hater. It is what it is. Joe Burrow, I dropped him. I know he has bad 2 weeks, but honestly, watching him shake out his wrist, like we already talked about, pretend like he didn't know. He doesn't have Higgins. Who knows? Higgins was sick or whatever it was. Maybe he'll be fine with Higgins and Chase. But to me, the catalyst here was it really looked like to me he missed Joe Mixon. Like it really looked like he missed his boy. And so he missed the safety valve, a safety blanket. And now
yeah,
that I'm seeing how good Joe Mixon actually might be for the first time
right.
in his career, there's no comparison between him and Zach Moss. Zach Moss is a fine player, but there's just not a comparison. I mean, the Mixon that we just saw running free for the Texans is like honestly as high powered and potent as that Texans offense is. Like I was like, my God, he might be the best player on the field. Like he might be better than all the receivers that they have. Diggs and Nico and Tank. Like Joe Mixon was the star of that. He was a stud. And Nico looked fantastic as well. I'm not trying to take anything away from Nico, but that's how good Joe Mixon looked.
He looked young. he looked like revitalized. I played against him in one of my leagues, and I was like, oh my gosh, like what the heck is going on?
He's
Yeah,
tearing it up. He's absolutely tearing
man.
it up.
Yeah,
So, without those guys, I don't know. And then again, it's the other thing that's really clear to me is like last year, how many times did we talk about Boyd just ruining Jamar or Higgins day.
Right.
Right? Like over and over and over. And all of a sudden, it's like, wait a minute, if Burrow doesn't have this third all-star, like, what happens? If he didn't have his third stud. So I also like, I do like, I'm not gonna lie, this is a little bit of homer take for fantasy football. I want to get guys that I want to root for. You know what I mean? Like, I want to have guys on my team that I want to root for. And dude, I want to root. I want to root for Baker, dude. I love the revitalization. I love his commercials with the Browns, and they miss him. I love all the slander going at the Browns for letting this guy walk away, who's just clearly balling, while they have Deshaun Watson, who knows what's going to happen. We're not going to talk about the situation, but who knows what's going to happen now with his latest situation. All of a sudden, Jameis, who actually is, hey, fantasy football, he can be great. Unless you have 5-point interceptions, Big Z, then he's not.
Right.
He's not ideal.
I mean, it just shows you though, like it just like you kind of highlighted it before. It shows you like it's really important on the situation you're drafted into. Like Baker was drafted in number 1 overall to the Browns, did not have the Browns squad that it's currently in place, which isn't that good, but like he even had a worse squad, and he still led that team to the playoffs and should have beaten the Chiefs. Like the refs won that game for the Chiefs once again, as they always do in the playoffs and the Super Bowl. But like Baker wasn't that bad. And it's like if you surrounded Baker with the guys that they have now, Amari Cooper, Jerry Jeudy, Njoku, Nick Chubb in the backfield, Jerome Ford, and that defense, my gosh. Imagine. Like, and so it was definitely a mistake, for sure a mistake. But like we're happy for Baker.
100%.
It makes Colin Cowherd just like it makes him so mad that Baker's doing so well, because he would trash him so much. And I love it. I love whenever Colin's mad. I love it. It's great.
Oh, hands down, dude. Hands down. Somebody I feel really, really great about, that I got a lot of shares of, and it seems like it's really going to pay off, including in Brevity. James Cook, man. I'm so happy. This is what I first saw was him. He had a good first game. It wasn't like groundbreaking, but it was a good, solid game. It looked like he was going to be a part of this offense. And then tonight, I really feel like they started putting some pieces in place of like, use these receivers to set up this run game. Like this run game is what is going to win you games. And I mean, Miami before this game was a team that everybody was looking at. Like this team could go to the Super Bowl. Right. This team could contend. And they looked awful. Even before Tua left the game, they looked awful. The Bills were doing whatever they wanted to do. And so I'm so happy with my James Cook. I'm ecstatic. I have 2 shares of him across my league. Saquon Barkley, I hope he just stays healthy and continues down his path.
I'm pumped. I got Rashid Rice in one of my leagues. Like he's obviously the number 1 in Kansas City.
Obviously.
Went to Super Bowl. And then as a sleeper, in one of my leagues, I took Jameson Williams on Detroit.
Yes.
Dude had 25 points last week. And he looked like Amon-Ra St. Brown looked like trash last week.
I have him in Brevity. Yeah. I got him in Brevity, our dynasty, because I believed. Like I was like, I absolutely walked in that draft knowing I want to take a flyer on him, because last year everybody's talking about Jameson Williams coming into the season.
Right.
Like he's supposed to be this, he's supposed to be that. Right.
Again,
and it never. And then when he came back, he wasn't blocking properly or whatever it was, and so like all of a sudden the hype coming around it. His skill set, I heard it on a podcast just today. His skill set, arguably, he can be the most talented person on this Lions roster. The extremely talented line. That like the person who was saying that believes in this Lions team. That's how much they believe in this guy. And his skill set, what's really nice about Jameson, which makes me feel really good, I'm with you 100%, is that it's different than anyone else on that team. There's no other Jameson win. They have Sam Laporta who can go over the middle, run small routes, run a slant. Right. They have Gibbs. He can run a slant. He can run over the middle. He can run those mid-range targets. Those routes that Amon-Ra St. Brown used to feed off of, right? And now that Gibbs is going to become a much larger part of the game plan, I'll tell you what, man, in the same breath of us being excited about him, I'm not saying Amon-Ra is going to be bad, but I'm saying he was drafted in the first round, somewhere around pick 5 or 6, right? 6 or 7, everywhere.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the first round, I don't see a world in which you're getting that value for him. I really don't.
No, yeah, no way. Like that's like none of us took him like in any of our leagues that high. Like I just
nope.
I know people like I tried to trade for him in another dynasty league I'm in, and the person wanting me to give up two because I have three first rounds next year. If some trades I've done, and he's like, no, I need 2 first rounders. So it's like, I'm not giving you 2 first rounders
Yep.
for Amon-Ra St. Brown.
But
There's no
even in
no
our
for anyone, I'm not giving you 2 first rounders. Like, and Amon-Ra is not this, like, he's good, but like, no, there's no way. There's no way, bro.
Cam Frost is someone listening to this podcast and literally just he's a guy in our league. And it was the same deal. I literally sent him a first rounder, and I wouldn't give him a first rounder now. I'm not gonna lie. But before the season started, I sent him a first rounder and a piece. I think it might have been Jameson Williams for Amon-Ra St. Brown. And he's like, dude, there's no way. Like, I can't move off of Amon-Ra St. Brown because I still believed in him at that time. And I was like, if I could turn Jameson Williams before even the season starts into Amon-Ra, like, that's a win. Like, that's
Right.
what, the prevailing logic of the time was. And now, dude, no. I would not trade you a first rounder in Jameson Williams for Amon-Ra St. Brown. Jason somewhere just his blood is curdling because he is such an Amon-Ra St. Brown guy. Me and him were having conversations yesterday. I was like, dude, you have to be, if this is your boy, you have to be concerned. So he is running the same routes in the same space, in the same amount of targets as Sam Laporta and Jahmyr Gibbs. Right. That's who he's competing with. And those are two of their very best players. This is going to be tough for you.
He's a Cowboys
It's going to be tough for you. So, that's it. Did you push I said I pushed the panic button on Joe Bro. Did you push the panic button on anybody?
If Drake London doesn't do well this week, I'll push the panic button. Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
But I'm giving.
You're holding on. You're holding on.
Like Kirk Cousins, I'm giving because Kirk Cousins has to deliver the ball. Drake London, he can't do anything without him. I'm giving him one. I mean, if Desmond Ridder, if he can do well with Desmond Ridder, like, I'm pretty sure he's going to be okay. Like, it's like, I'll give him 2 more weeks. We'll see.
I like Kirk Cousins. I never understood that contract, that deal. I never understood it. Kirk Cousins is fine. He was fine for the Vikings because you're throwing to Justin Jefferson and Hawkinson. Like, he was fine. Okay, but they didn't win a playoff game, right? He didn't do that.
I mean, they lost the Giants in the playoffs at home.
When everybody's like, Kirk Cousins is coming, they're going to be Super Bowl favorites. I was like, why? Like,
to be fair, again, they had Desmond Ridder. So, like, they had nothing. They had nothing on offense.
Yeah, you got to get fired up.
You got to get fired up. But I see what you're saying. Like, again, let's see what happens against the Eagles. I bet you he throws 3 touchdowns this week, and it'll be okay.
Time will
tell.
Kansas City, Big Z, Kansas City. Moving on to baseball. You talked about it. Big series coming up. The Royals played the Yankees, and they handled business.
Yeah, I know, man.
Took 2 or 3, dude.
Wow. That's such a big win for them. Like, going into New York in like mid-September when the Yankees are fighting for their own division and going in there and taking the series, like, that's huge, man. And man, these races are amazing. I think every single division in the American League is within 4.5 or less games. Like, I love that.
Yep.
It's, oh man,
it was huge because then you also, on the flip side of that, you have the Detroit Tigers, who we just mentioned, who none of us saw coming, wins against the Rockies, wins against the Athletics that they're supposed to do, win against the Padres, win against the Boston. Right? They're beating teams they're supposed to beat. But again, not too long ago, they took 2 out of 3 against the Yankees as well. Right. The Tigers team is hot. And so
75 and 72. Yeah.
They're a game. They are 3.5 back from the Twins. So they're 4.5 back from the Royals. But I mean, there is still baseball to be played. Every team, I think, has 20 more games?
Yeah.
I want to say
about 20 more games, 82, 60, 142. Yeah. 16 more games, about roughly.
So, 3 games is you're right on the cusp. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah.
But 3 games is doable.
Yeah.
3 games is doable, especially when you consider, let's see, who do the Tigers play? Because that's what's going to be, that's really what's going to decide it, right? So they go to the Orioles next. This is crazy. This is going to come down to the wire. This is absolutely
Orioles, then Kansas City, and then Orioles again, Tampa Bay, and then they finish with the White Sox.
So if they beat the Orioles, they could potentially be beating the Orioles into the playoffs, because the Orioles, they're only 5. They're about, let's see, 7, 8 games up. So if they sweep them, it seems unrealistic, but they could potentially be the reason that the Orioles don't make it. Dude, I love it. And same thing on the flip side. I mean, the Padres are playing the Diamondbacks a bunch. The Mets are playing the Braves a bunch. The Dodgers are playing the Padres a bunch. The Dodgers are playing the Diamondbacks a bunch. So by the way, the Padres and the Diamondbacks are really, really interesting because the Mets are right behind them, and you have the Atlanta Braves a game behind the Mets. So they're 2.5 and 3.5 back from the Diamondbacks and the Padres, but the Diamondbacks and the Padres play each other. So that's going to be really interesting coming out because only one team can win.
Only one team can. That is facts, man. Like
that's
you can't
facts.
get that wrong. Can't get that one wrong.
Can't get that.
You know
what's
crazy? I saw the three best records since the All-Star break. You have the Padres, the Diamondbacks, and the Dodgers.
Yep.
Like the NL West is just
it's going off.
It's just the best, man.
But
it's amazing.
But the Padres have the Giants, who have been giving them fits. Not too long ago, they did win the last series against them. They did win the
Giants are done this year, but we've seen
fighting for pride. Seen it. You got Houston, which aren't they in a tight race? Isn't Houston in a relatively tight race?
It's 4.5 games, I think.
Yeah, so you got Houston, who they're trying. They got to win. They can't just take the rest of the season off.
Right,
is my point. Right. So
yeah, they got the Angels. Yeah, I want to see Houston's schedule or the Mariners' schedule, and I want to see if they play Houston again. The Mariners got Rangers. Oh, they lost tonight. Wow, they blew that game. They were up. Wow. They should beat the Rangers. They got 3 more with the Rangers, Yankees, Rangers, Houston, Oakland. So, man, I can't believe that baseball season's almost over. I can't believe it's the playoffs. It always just comes, dude. Like it's like that. It starts. You're like, oh, it's 162 games, and then it's like, oh, we're here. Like I think we made it a point this week to post some stuff about baseball because like it truly is fun to watch it, especially even in September. Like if you guys don't have a team, pick a team. Pick a team that's either playoff hunting or in a race. It's fun, man. It truly is. Like you get to see like the intricacies of baseball, how it really works, the chess matches that are going on throughout the game. It's truly a beautiful game. So pick a team if you don't have a team. But it's fun. Like I'm going to be tuning in for sure with these races. So the last week is always super great when you're looking at other races going on around the league.
If it stays this close, the Dodgers could potentially clinch against the Padres, which would be
beautiful for us.
Amazing. But
as long as we can beat them in the playoffs. But
the Dodgers can play. But again,
I'm worried. I'm worried though. I'm worried the Dodgers, their bullpen is just trash. And like again, Cody Bellinger came into Dodger Stadium and hit 2 homers against us in 3 games.
He's making us pay. He's going to turn into the modern day Chipper Jones.
I know.
People don't know. Chipper Jones was in the Dodgers farm system. They traded him away before he even started, and he raked. His entire career, he raked.
You know, also was on the Dodgers, Pedro Martinez, and we traded him away. It's just, and Jordan Alvarez. Let's not get into it.
Let's not get into it.
We love us some Cody.
The point is, the Padres are playing the Dodgers and then the Diamondbacks. So, I mean,
they got a tough schedule.
There's a ton of moves. There's a ton of things that can happen between now and the end of the season. The Diamondbacks are about to take on the Milwaukee, who is looking to secure their spot in the playoffs.
Yeah, Milwaukee.
They're still in a tight race. I mean, Chicago is 9 games behind them, but they are looking for the home field advantage. They're only 3 games behind the Dodgers. They're only 4 games behind the Phillies. So they're still chasing home field advantage. Everybody knows how important, especially in baseball, home field advantage can be. Right? You don't want to be the team that's constantly traveling. They played Milwaukee twice, Big Z, the Giants, and then the Padres. So, anything can happen there, especially with the fact that they are being chased down by the Mets. And it's sort of crazy to think that one team between the Mets and the Braves aren't going to make the playoffs. It's wild to think.
Well, unless you knock out unless the Padres, the Diamondbacks fall off.
It could happen. It could happen.
Yeah, it could happen. We'll see.
We'll keep you posted. We'll keep watching. We'll keep looking. Tampa Bay Rays.
They're out.
Pouring out for the fallen homies. They're out. They're out. The Rangers just could not pull out of their World Series slump, man. They just
couldn't, man. And Corey today, season-ending hernia surgery. So
he was healthy for 1 year. You did it, though. You did it. You did it. You won.
You won the Rangers first. I mean, yeah, you did it, man. Good for you. You did it.
It's like akin to like when the Dodgers or when the Rams are playing the Lions, And it was like, Jared Goff. And everyone's like, how do you feel when they call Jared Goff? I'm like, guys, he already won. He got the ring. He did it. Like this whole conversation's over. Like he did it.
Right.
He
Right,
left
exactly.
and won. So yeah, this has been fun. Big Z. Say bye to the people.
People, goodbye. Have a good weekend or a good week. And we love you guys. And if you have any fantasy questions, and let us know. Even though we're kind of wrong sometimes, we're still gonna win your league. Send us a DM, put something in the comments. We'll respond to you if you have a question. We appreciate you guys. We love you guys. Hope you have a good weekend.
We love you. Thank you for joining. Check us out on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Those are the big ones. Brevity Sports.